this room is awful, but it's mine. What can I say? It's my guest room. My dad sleeps in here.
Is your dad sleeping right now?
Yeah, he's under the bed. I tucked him in a wicker box
Okay,
and
that's a little
just
different.
comfortably just slid him under the bed on rollers.
That's a true crime podcast, I believe.
Maybe, maybe.
How are you, Samantha Bee?
I'm all right. How are
I'm so
you?
excited. This is my first time
How's
talking to you. I'm very
quarantine going?
excited.
What are we, like 150 million days in?
Yesterday I tweeted, how the fuck is it August 18th?
I I am with you. I'm with you.
I literally
Time
was
is
not the,
meaningless.
and I said, and I expanded. I was like, it's not a special day for me. There's no holiday, no birthday. How the fuck is it August 18th?
Oh, I have no idea. And as you said those words, I went in my head, it's August 18th? Like, it feels like May. Like, it's a little cooler out here, too. I'm kind of wearing a jacket and it feels right. I'm like, it's the spring, right? What happens next?
Yeah.
No.
It's also 120 degrees in Los Angeles right now. It's so bad.
Okay. Oh, that's terrible.
I literally yesterday I walked out for a second, threw the dogs out into the backyard, pee, come back in. I'm like, I'm not going outside.
No, don't go outside. No, no, no. That's not
No.
good.
How are you coping in quarantine? How's your dad?
My dad's actually like basically I shoot a whole lot of the show. Like any interview that I do in this guest room where he normally sleeps, but we're from Canada, so he went across the Canadian border just before the full lockdown, and they closed the border, so I haven't seen him since February, and he's going crazy, and I am also going crazy because our entire family is there, and we have no way to connect. So he's very upset.
Now,
He can't
had
tell me
you
about his doctor's appointments in person. He has to do it via text and all of his blood work, all the results. I gotta.
you know what?
Yeah.
Give him my mom's number. They could talk.
Oh, perfect. He needs a pen pal. He needs a better pen pal than me because I know his blood work is fine, but he does not believe me. And I keep trying to tell him, I'm like, no, I'm a full scientist now. Like, I've got it. You don't have to worry. These levels are great. 800? Sure. You're at the peak of your health.
Had you thought about just going off to Canada for all of this? Because apparently Canada's doing better than we are, right?
Canada's doing pretty well. Parts of Canada are doing less great. I have not actually really contemplated that all that sincerely. Like, I have sort of thought, because my kids go to New York City public schools, and so they're scheduled to go back to school kind of like early to mid-September. And I have considered that if that date gets pushed, I may try to go back and just shoot the show from Canada for just a couple of weeks. But we'd be quarantined there, so is a bit difficult too. So it's okay. It's kind of like if they come here, if my family comes here, they're quarantined. If we go there, we're very quarantined, very locked down. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm waiting for the heavens to tell me what to do. I'm waiting for the universe to guide me. I'll just be here in this room until 2023.
So 4 Emmy nominations for the show. How exciting.
Yes. So I'm very excited.
Hooray! Best night since our all-white basketball team got that 1 point.
How do you find the balance of like being joyful and celebrating that, but being mindful of the time we're in?
Sure. It's not really the time to go out in the world and like beat your chest with her. There's a lot of other stuff happening. And I will say, and I did say this to my staff when we got the nominations, that like, it's very clear that it's, the world has really changed and we're all working in the weirdest of possible circumstances. And it's not like, we don't get together and make a show so that we can get prizes. That's not why we do what we do, but it is nice from time to time, get a little outside validation and just to have a nice day to just bask in that a little bit. And like you do have to find a little joy in all of this.
Yeah.
You do have to celebrate yourself a little bit. It doesn't mean you have to like, get a skywriter and go like, look at us, oh my God, we're incredible. But, you just have like a little nice, it just gives you a glow. Maybe it's temporary. It's
You have
okay.
an Emmy.
It's okay
You have
to
an
glow a
Emmy
little
glow.
bit.
You have a little Emmy glow.
It's nice.
So I'm assuming you're watching the convention. You're hearing a lot of people saying like, I'm watching more of it than I ever did.
I think that's true. I am watching. Because I'm watching it, I'm focusing on it. When you're actually there, there's so much happening. And a lot of the people who spoke, and it was very condensed, which is actually really helpful.
Right.
Because a lot of that stuff just takes forever and kind of would, in a normal year, would go all day. Like you wouldn't end up seeing that. You're like in line for the bathroom and trying to get an interview over here. It's just like a lot of people milling about, and then everybody's going to get a wet turkey sandwich at the kiosk because you can't, or like lining up for the CNN grill or some bullshit like that. So this is actually, it's a more focused kind of attention, which I think is actually good. And they've done a pretty good job. I mean, you know what I mean? I loved the roll call. That's all I'm going to say. The roll call was awesome. Yeah. I was here for it. I was like, it's like a loose meat sandwich of a thing. There's like highs and lows and calamari and like really great people. I loved it. It was rollicking. That went very well.
Are we going to miss, though, Bill Clinton playing with balloons?
Well, I mean, we can always look back. We have video of that. We can enjoy that anytime we want. Kicking balloons. What are these magical orbs? They're light. And they bounce and they're so colorful. That's for us anytime. Just need a little boost.
See, I miss the big music moments when they walk out on stage and that music is playing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's a convivial atmosphere, or it's frenetic and your feet hurt. Like how many have you gone to? Have you gone live?
I've never gone to one. I've never gone to one. Oh. Never. I know.
Oh, no. You're so deprived. Well,
I am.
I think you're okay. I don't think you needed it in your life.
No, I want to.
It's not that fun. It's very, the first time I ever went to one was 2004. And I was in awe, like not in a good way. I was just like, this is a lot of waste. As a practical Canadian, I was like, we could do this more simply. If you want me to produce this, I could do this in 20 minutes. Like I could get this done, but I guess that's not what it's for. I understand.
So who's impressed you the most so far in their speeches?
Oh, gee. Well, now I can't remember anything that happened. So great. There were Michelle Obama was great, but that was expected.
That did.
Surprise me by being bad next time. Yeah, no, I mean, she was amazing. She was incredible. Kamala's going to be great. I'm excited for that. I'm excited. She's going to be great.
Are you hopeful?
Dare I allow myself to feel hope? I mean, again, like a little bit like celebrating an Emmy nomination. You have to just give yourself a moment where you go, is it possible that we could be okay? Like, could we do this? And you go, yeah, it's possible. We can pull this out. Mm-hmm. I hope it's not a squeaker. Like, I hope it's real, But basically, the tone we're taking at the show, and I just like on the show tonight, I'm basically like, expect the worst. Because when you expect the worst, you plan for every outcome, which we did not have a plan last time. We need you got to have a plan. Got to have something to hold on to. So I'm kind of like planning for the worst and hoping for the best. It's like an old wives' tale. It's like very grandmother wisdom, but I'm going with it.
When you started doing the show in quarantine, how surreal was that? And were you able to find the, I mean, I couldn't tell if you didn't, but were you able to find the rhythm right away? Was it?
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't, it was, you know, I don't mind shooting the show in my backyard. Like, I don't, that part of the process is fine. I think at the beginning, when we started doing it in quarantine, it was like exciting because we didn't know if we could actually do it. And then once we figured out we could actually do it, then I think we had a kind of a plateau where we're like, now we do this. And
Right.
now I think it's a time of discovery. What can we do differently? How can we elevate this process? Because I do think we'll still be doing this for a while. I think I found the rhythm pretty quickly. It doesn't, I don't come from a stand-up background. Like, I love stand-up, but I don't do that myself. So I don't require applause or audience feedback. If anything, I'm
Mm.
I, it's there's more ease. I can try things a few different ways. I don't mind because you do when you have an audience, and I love our audience, by the way. It was always a really communal experience, but when you don't have an audience, you get to do the material exactly as you wish. When you are working with an audience, you're taking on their energy and you're taking
Right.
on their rhythm a little bit, and you know where the laugh lines are, and you know what you're kind of like you're hitting these peaks and valleys and plateaus and stuff. So without that, I'm having a good time just kind of experimenting with that. It's
Mm.
weird to perform the show for my husband, honestly. That part is weird. Like, at first he was really into it. He really was like, we're just like framing it and like, try this and adjusting this and that. And now he got himself like a folding chair and one of those fans that fans and sprays you and spritzes you. And he has like a neck gaiter and a hat. So he just sits in a folding chair and sprays himself and reads. Or like, and then he'll get up sometimes and go like, yeah, just check the
Listen,
date or whatever.
I've been married going on 7 years, my husband and I, and you just basically described marriage.
Yeah.
You're like, at the beginning, you try this, try that position. And by the end,
try this. Get your leg over here. And they're like, you know what? It works if we just lay here. It works the same. The end is the same. Hopefully, we're going to end up with a show or an orgasm or something. Something's going to happen. Hopefully.
How often do you find yourself? Obviously, we know there was that whole thing with the C word. How often do you find yourself? Do you censor yourself? Do you think twice now about? Because I'm sure you really want to just. I mean, you do already, but
not that I will say that we presaged a lot of other people's thoughts. No, I don't really. I say what I want to say. I do think like the show it's like a little bit different in the forest because again, you aren't playing for that
right,
audience appreciation in the same way.
right.
So and so the just like the volume of it is a little different. And it does, I know this doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. And I have a lot of very obviously upset. We're all upset all the time. But there's something about being in the backyard and everything's so green and like there's dragonflies are buzzing around and there's ants all over my feet that just assuages the really hard edges a little bit. Like it's so absurd
Right.
that it's hard to it's hard to really attack the camera in the same way. It is just like just a different experience. I won't say that it's less of a point of view or anything like that, but it feels weird to be super angry in the forest, even though I am. It's just like a different volume of performance in a weird way.
Do your kids know how upset you are?
Yeah, we're really open with them. I mean, they're upset. Like they want normal life too, but we don't.
You're not running around the house doing your monologue.
No, that's not it. I would never. I mean, that's just not how I couldn't. Who could be that version of a human being? Oh my God, that would
It's
be awful.
Hollywood. It's
No,
Hollywood.
it's normal life. It's normal life. My children are desperately unimpressed with me. It's awful. Like they think I'm like such a loser. And that's great. And so we spend a lot of time together. We're teaching them how to play poker. They want the world to be different. They listen to the news all the time because I listen to the news all the time.
Right.
So they absorb this information. We don't shy away from it. They're old enough to understand.
Right.
They're old enough to understand and appreciate the stakes. I think to the extent that a 12-year-old can understand the stakes, they get it. They get it. They wear their masks.
You know what?
They
But
don't complain about it.
it's nice that you say that because there are a lot of people in the
Mhm.
Hollywood land who are like,
Mhm.
oh, my kids really don't know what I do. You know, they just no, they're not involved. Like, I love the fact that you're saying, yeah, your kids, of course, know what's going on and they know what's going on with you.
For sure. And also we keep trying to rope them into helping us shoot the show because we need extra hands and they hate it. At first they were into it too,
Right.
but they don't find me funny in the least. Like they would never. So it was actually a little harder to perform it's hard to perform the show for Jason alone, but it's way harder when your children are standing there and they're just like, what are you talking about?
Did you
Or
get
they're
self-conscious?
putting up a filter and they're like, I hate this. Can I leave?
Oh, I mean, I know like when I do on camera stuff and if there's like a camera guy who I know does not care what I'm talking about
Right.
and he's sitting behind there and he's practically on his phone,
Yeah.
I get so self-conscious.
Yeah. It's like walking into like in early days of when I used to audition for stuff when I was like in my 20s. Sometimes you'd walk into a room full of people and you were just like so jangled and nervous and they'd be just like in the middle of your audition, order a turkey club on their phone. You know what I mean? It's the most unsettling. It's terrible, humiliating.
So let's say you go into an office building
Sure.
and it's regular times. It's not pandemic time. So you
Okay.
could be in an
Oh,
elevator. You could be in an elevator with someone.
oh,
Door
God.
opens
Uh-huh.
and it's Donald Trump and you walk in, doors close. What do you say?
Oh, God. What would I say? Oh, I think I would honestly just say, I think you are doing a terrible job. I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, can't you just step down? Why don't you just stop? Why are you even trying to be the president? We can all see how much you hate it, how much you loathe this experience, and how much you just want to win. And it's pathetic. I think I would just monologue, but also be a reasonable person. I think I would have a normal. There's no other way that I could be. I don't have a monologue prepared for that moment.
Right.
But I think I would just start talking and he would hate it. He would not be listening. He would definitely be on his phone and he wouldn't know who I
He'd be
am.
tweeting about you as you were doing it.
God. Ugh.
If you were running for office, what would your slogan be?
Oh. Like I really would just be like, oh, for fuck's sake, would you just vote for me? I know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. I don't. I would never run for. That is not an aspiration of mine whatsoever. So maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Unless Donald Trump Jr. runs for mayor of New York City, and then I will too.
Is that a thing?
Oh, he said it a while back. I don't think
I'm from New York, so
he did say it. He did say it. He did say it. I know. Look at your face. You're like, what? It's like my head could spin. It would spin.
Wow.
It's mind blowing. Could you imagine?
So do you have the request in already to Biden saying, if you win, will you be on my show?
I've had a running request. I have requests into all of them. Actually, not Donald Trump. I don't have a request into.
You've never requested.
Not, but I think I have requests in for all of them. They just sort of say no or put you off or whatever. They go on the other shows. I think they think, and it's really not accurate because I think I do really fair and interesting interviews with political people. I think I'm very good at it and I like talking to them. So I think I would actually do a great job, but I think they think, or they have some like impression that it would be like just like attack mode, and it would be I don't know what they think, but I just get sort of turned down, or not turned down, but just sort of ignored. Whatever.
You
Fine. I
wouldn't
can
have
talk about everyone equally if none of them give me the
right.
time. Although I did have Kamala on twice, and she was great. Like great to talk to, great to be in the room with, like a full human being. Like
Right.
that you can have like that it's not all
Conversation with.
talking points. It's not all just like, here are the beats I want to hit in this interview,
Right.
but like a fully realized human being with a life outside of this moment. She was great to talk to. She's great.
You wouldn't want Donald Trump on the show if the opportunity presented itself?
I mean, no, I don't. It's not like you could see he's impenetrable. He's an impenetrable narcissist. I don't know what would be gained. I don't know what would be gained. I know that my soul would exit my body. Like, I think it would be, I'm not sure that I really would, I really would consider that slumming. Like, I don't love to give voice to conspiracy theorists and things like that, because when you end up I wouldn't be elevating his voice, but would I be
Right.
giving credence to his views? I mean, literally, he just spends the whole time lying. I think it's useless. He doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's lying. So, what truly is the point?
It's a good point. What is the point?
Yeah.
So who is the big dream guest you want? Who do you want?
The big dream guest. Gee, it's literally like that's so funny. I don't really dream of guests, except I've always wanted to have the Foo Fighters on. I mean, that's kind of a dream, or
Okay, let's make that happen right now. What's your pitch to the Foo Fighters? Why should they come on your show?
I just think it would be for me, the pitch is very self-centered, but when it's true, and it actually really is. But I love them, and I love Dave Grohl, and I think they're great. And I do enjoy having music on the show. I truly do. It would kind of bracket my news satire career very beautifully for me, because when I first was, this is a long-winded story, but when I first came to New York and I was auditioning in person for The Daily Show, so it was a callback. I came to the in-person studio, and there was a playlist of music that was played, and it was so emotional for me, because I was like, I came to see the show the night before I was auditioning, because I thought I'd like to see the space. I just like to know where I am physically. And they had a playlist, and there was a Foo Fighters song, and I got so emotional listening to it. And it just represented something so huge, like the hugest opportunity. And so every time that song comes on the radio, or anytime I hear it, I'm like, it takes me right back to that. Like, I was in my 30s, but I feel like a kid. Like, I just go right back to that moment of like, this is where it really began. Yeah. So that's
it's a sensory memory. It's that kind of.
It really is. Yeah.
I think, you know what, we're going to have to make this happen.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yes, I can easily. You just gave a very beautiful,
maybe. I don't know,
very beautiful pitch to get them on the show.
Emotional. I would cry the whole time. So it's probably, they should say no, because I'd just be in tears the whole time. It'd be very ridiculous.
And now just a fun question for you. What was the first audition you ever went on?
Ooh, interesting question. I know it was very bad. Oh, I do remember. Oh God. Okay. The first audition I ever went on was for a movie, like a real audition, like for a real thing. was for a Shirley MacLaine movie called Mrs. Winterbottom. I think it was called
Yeah.
Mrs. Winterbourne, Mrs.
Mrs.
Winterbottom.
Winter, something like that. Yes, 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 yes.
I went and I read for the part of like a housekeeper or something like that. I don't think there's no character name. And that represented like a very high point because after that audition, I then auditioned for 1,000 things that never got made and you've never heard of for worse roles.
I just love that you auditioned to play a maid. Like you bring a feather duster and show them improv
No, I think
feather
it was like
duster?
2 lines, and I was so naive so as not to even be nervous. Like I didn't even know enough to know that the stakes were very high because when I left theater school, I think I did a very good job. I was impressive in theater school. Whatever. And so when I left theater school, I was like, I'm going to be auditioning all the time for so many things. So it was just a very natural extension. Like, this is a movie, I'll go in for it. And then I absolutely hit rock bottom like for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Like no one would hire me. So what I didn't know at the time was that was the absolute height for a really, really long time. I should have appreciated it more.
Do you want to do more acting?
No, not at all. No, I do not. No, unless, my husband's, he's a TV creator, director. So if he does he will do another project. He's working on multiple projects. So when he cooks something up, I'll be in that, but it's not an aspiration of mine at all. Not particularly.
After Shirley MacLaine and The Maid.
After Shirley MacLaine, and I didn't even get the part. I definitely did not get the part. Definitely did not.
Or maybe you did and you're not telling me.
I did play. I was just talking about this with the writers the other day. I did play a character called Cinnabon Girl in The Love Guru, and I got cut out of that. I also played a variety of roles where I got cut out of
Cinnabon Girl, and you got cut out.
Cut out of The Love Guru. They were like, this isn't good enough for this great project.
Do you remember what your line was? I'm assuming it was one line.
Oh, it was one. Maybe like a line and a look, like, can I help you, sir? Mm-hmm. Or something, it was like that. I'm sure I loved it.
Oh my God, Cinnabon Girl.
Cinnabon Girl. Yeah. Yeah, I wore a Cinnabon outfit.
Samantha Bee, this was so much fun. I want to keep going.
Fun, too. This was a total pleasure. You made my day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Samantha. Take care.
Bye, you too.
Bye. Bye.